Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar dedicated to the modern alternatives in ocean freight booking. In this 30-minute session, we will gain insights into the reasons why companies are currently migrating away from the legacy platforms. Then we will discuss the main strategies that companies apply in order to complement or maybe even replace their current solutions. And last but not least, we will dive into the modern cloud-based data connectivity providers, and we will learn how these companies can add missing pieces to the puzzle. But before moving any further, please let me introduce myself and EuroDI. My name is Natalia, and I'm your host today. I carry the hybrid role of a project manager and business development manager, which basically means that I interact with our customers on the pre-sale stage, doing the market research, and later on I jump on board as a project manager for the project implementation. My journey in logistics began in 2006, shortly after graduating from high school. I started at a small trucking company where the real-time visibility was basically calling the driver just to find out that he is still at the port and the container ship has not yet arrived. Luckily, these days are gone. But later on, I moved to various shippers, where also the most automated process was probably printing the labels using Microsoft Word. And I also worked for a global freight forwarder. And while being introduced to the complexity of the whole supply chain management process, I still learned that Microsoft Excel can be your ERP or the management system or maybe a price calculator, you name it. And fast forward to these days, from struggling with lack of automation in the logistics processes to being a part of your EuroDI team, to finally being able to set up the pace to the transformations in the logistics industry. So what is EuroDI? Who we are? Well, we're a global provider of data connectivity for the logistics and supply chain domain. By combining bespoke solutions with our ready-made products, we help companies to streamline their logistics-related processes and improve data quality. And while today we will be talking about ocean booking specifically, EuroDI integrations cover the whole logistic-related message exchange process. And while having ADI as a part of our name, and to be honest, being incredibly proud of being capable still working with the legacy formats, obviously we're not strangers to the APIs. Quite the opposite, actually, because we tend to say that we bridge these two realms. But, one thing at a time. Ocean freight. Let's have a look at the ocean shipping industry from the operational perspective. It's a little bit of a mess, don't you agree? We all remember the global financial crisis in 2008, COVID with its lockdowns and breakouts in different ports all over the globe, or Ukrainian war, or maybe capacity issues with containers, or spot rates skyrocketing and then dropping down as quickly, Suez Canal blockage. I can keep going, but the point is that every time we think that the industry is just about to get back to normal, we realize that normal simply does not exist in this industry. And while people have learned how to sustain the constantly changing environment by training their resilience skills, some systems and platforms remain the same regardless of the market demand. And you can say that, for instance, ocean booking process haven't changed that much over the years. You would be right, because you still need to send the shipping request and provide shipping instructions. But let's have a better look into the message exchange in terms of booking and tracking. As you can see, the message cycle is indeed quite straightforward. And I'm sure all of you present here today are familiar with the process, both from the technical perspective and from the operational. And also, as you probably know, that you can source the track and trace data or vessel schedules from different systems. But for booking specifically, you need to be integrated with ocean carriers. And that's where legacy booking platforms have been essential in streamlining the processes in ocean logistics. They enabled electronic booking, real-time tracking, improved communication across the different players in the domain. But however, the limitations have become increasingly apparent. So let's have a look on these limitations. Many companies have become hostages of these legacy platforms. Yes, they provide seamless connectivity with the biggest ocean lines, but these platforms do not rush integrate new players on customers' requests. So you really have to come up with the ideas on how to cover the rest of your operational needs. And as usually with the smaller carriers, you would still have to book manually by calling them or sending the email. Also, what is not guaranteed with the legacy booking platforms is the connectivity with your ERP or TMS systems. If you're integrated, then that's well covered, but in some cases, you would still have to add this information manually into your systems. And add unreasonably high prices to this list, and I think you would understand why the dissatisfaction in the industry is growing and companies are starting to migrate away. And besides, I don't know whether you know it or not, many legacy platforms, they not only charge in freight forwarders or TMS companies who are the main users of this platform, but they also charge carriers. So I think this is also the reason why more modern solutions are really needed right now. These and many other reasons combined are pushing companies to look for other solutions. And we can have a brief look at what strategies companies apply in order to come up with a better operations, with a more streamlined processes. First would be a do-it-yourself approach, which is quite good if you have a strong IT team, if you have enough resources, and if you're well connected also on the business level with the shipping lines. But it also has some downsides, like you really need to maintain these integrations. You would have to also monitor changes on your trading partner side, and just simply in case some change requests are coming, your team would have to implement these changes. Then we can look at another approach. It's adding an additional system to your IT stack. And we live in the world where actually companies have multiple systems, and many of them are well integrated between each other, but sometimes it's not the case. So you have many interfaces, you have many main users, many normal users in your customer service or transport coordination side. And it's not always the best option, because when you have to come up with an additional system for only ocean booking, you would still have to train your employees to use this system. It would also increase the costs, and it's not always possible to maintain all these systems. Then more extreme approach would be replacing your TMS all at once. It's a good approach in case you're a young company who's just starting and who's not tied, with the history data in your TMS. Then you can just choose a provider who can give you ocean booking together with the land transport and maybe air freight bookings. But for many companies who've been having a contract with the same provider for many years, and otherwise they are happy with the TMS, it would be quite an extreme method to replace it. So in this case, we naturally come to the next strategy. It would be partnering up with the integration providers, because oftentimes it's the easiest way to complement your existing solution without the need to migrate away from it. and also to outsource the responsibilities in maintaining these integrations. But looking at all these methods, I can say that the choice is not always that obvious. And every strategy has pros and cons, and it purely depends on your starting point, on your business model, and what is your outlook. So today I want to spend a moment on the partnership model with the data integration providers. Let's explore how modern cloud-based integration solutions like your DI can help you to overcome the challenges and streamline your processes. And now, depending on whether you are representing the IT function or maybe you are from the business side, you will pay attention to either left or right side of this diagram. But I would like to start with left side with a more technical description. As you can see, there is no limitation to message formats or processes, message examples that we cover. Because technically, iPaaS platform, which stands for Integration Platform as a Service, allow to build any type of integration. And yet we chose to focus on the logistics and supply chain domain. And what does it mean for our customers? Well, that in addition to the technical implementation, we offer the industry expertise. So while quickly onboarding new parties, we make sure that our team understands your business and can also advise you in how to get the best of the integration. And also, while designing our iPaaS, we made sure that all the message translations could be done quickly. So it means that regardless of what format you prefer and your trading partners like ocean carriers, for example, prefer, you wouldn't have to adapt to their standard and vice versa. So we do all the translation and conversion within our platform. It means win-win for both sides. And on the right side of these slides, it's quite simplified structure of the connectivity we build. And by this highlighted bubble CCL, which stands for Common Carrier Layer, we mean ready-made connections. And this is basically the place where all the magic happens in terms of our ready-made integrations. And it's not always about ocean carriers, although it's definitely our strength, but we cover all the transport modalities. And here comes the part where, unlike the legacy booking platforms, our ready-made products is not the final list. We still keep adding new connectivity on our customer request, which means that you can utilize the quick onboarding of the existing connections. But on the other hand, if you have a need to connect with a smaller carrier or with a carrier with whom you have lower volumes, we can do it as quickly. And on the same diagram, these dark blue bubbles, they represent other systems that you can ask us to connect you. And when we talk about this user, you see in the middle of this diagram, it's not your user like transport coordinator, it's your system. So it can be anything. It's usually, probably TMS system. So as you can see, we are not replacing your existing ecosystem, but we're just complementing it. So we can connect with your TMS system and the graphic user interface will be the same that you used before. So we only implement this technical connectivity, which is actually quite good because whenever you need to add new systems to your ecosystem, it means that you will have new user interfaces or you would have to log in. But it's not the case with your ADI because we can connect to your system either via ADI or you can connect to our APIs. And if you need this technical description, we can provide it after the webinar because we have well-documented requirements. And it usually works pretty well with the more modern companies or with the global companies that are currently rolling out their APIs. But we also are capable to connect in an old-fashioned way. And right now, I would like to zoom in a little bit into the CCL, common carrier layer, which basically shows you, in this case of ocean booking, how the data is being transferred. So although you can see it's like ocean carriers, but still they might have different systems, right? And they might have different requirements. So by having this ready-made connection, we don't mean that it's fixed or it's set in stone. You can choose how do you want to connect with them and what messages you want to transfer, because we cover pretty much the whole cycle. And still, you can choose whether you want only, for example, to receive booking confirmation, or you want to track your shipment up to the invoicing stage. So it's all up to you. And what I mentioned before already, we are pro friendly coexistence with different systems, and we do not serve only one customer at a time. So while connecting, for example, freight forwarders with the ocean carriers or TMS system to the ocean carriers, we look into the both systems, which means that first of all, we stay up to date and we maintain our integrations in the way that you don't have to worry what happens if your ocean carrier, for example, updated something in their API. We will be there to monitor it and to implement the necessary changes. And it's also good because your service providers, they can benefit from this, so that they would always send the relevant data to you. And as you can see, we can also work with shippers and logistics service providers, but also log tech providers like TMSs, visibility platforms, FMSs. So it's the most important, because when we talk about legacy platforms, I think it's quite strict that you make the booking only through them, and maybe some big players are integrated or they also have to use these legacy platforms. We allow the ecosystem to live more flexible life and still provide you with the necessary data. And to summarize the benefits of choosing the partnership model of like partnering with companies like EuroDI, you can see a few points here, but my main point, once again, is the ecosystem, the power of ecosystem, because we live in the age where the partnerships are most crucial in order to complement each other's solutions and in order to provide related stakeholders with the best quality data. So if you are doing your in-house integrations while partnering with companies like EuroDI, you can release these resources for more crucial projects, but also we can collaborate with your in-house team, we can collaborate with your TMS system, and our goal is to make your operations as automated and as streamlined as possible in order for you to focus on your business. Because when you have your whole IT team, working on integration with ocean carriers, it might be that some crucial projects are being put on hold. So we generally try to support our customers with their needs. And also, as I mentioned already in the previous slides, that we don't offer only the technical connectivity. Our team is very well aware of what's happening in the logistics and supply chain industry, and that actually brings the additional value, but that you do not need to explain to our team, what happens if this field is missing. So we are proactively monitoring changes and trends in the industry. And what's most important is this customer-centric approach. For many companies, it's a hot topic, but as we learned already, many legacy booking platforms for ocean, they lost this part. At the beginning, they were covering the processes that nobody else could cover, so it was a life-saving boat. But with time, the prices kept increasing, but the level of customer satisfaction decreased really. So we at EuroDI, we really try to offer the solution that our customer needs. That's why we combine this off-the-shelf solution with a tailored approach. So we always gather together in order to map the needs and to create the solution design. So the end of 2023 is right behind the corner. And for many of you, it means that you need to renegotiate your contract. And right now, it might be the right decision, right time to make a decision whether you want to stick with your current legacy platform for 1 more year or for 2 more years, or would you like to discover other alternatives? Because as I mentioned today already, we are not trying to replace. So changing one booking platform for another booking platform, it would only mean that you need to migrate all your current integrations and all your customers. But having different approaches and different alternatives, I think it opens the door for more collaborative future. And in case of unstable supply chain industry where changes are happening in the blink of an eye, I think it's important also to have the solution provider that is as flexible and as up to date, to the changing environment. So our goal at EuroDI is to help you to harmonize your IT landscape and to help your service providers like TMS maybe to provide you with better services. So in case this webinar rose any questions for you, you can ask them. We have this Q&A session. But I must say that we are really happy to take up the calls, and you can contact us via our contact form on the website or maybe on LinkedIn, and you can send us email on the address that you can see on this final slide. And this slide actually has a few links. We will distribute this presentation afterwards, and you can read the case studies, which is actually is a good example of the successful replacing of the legacy platform. And we provide, we try to provide the market-related information, so you can utilize all the gathered information that our marketing team put together here. And I think for now, I'm gonna stop with the presentation, but I would like to encourage you to send your questions into the Q&A session. I will give you a moment. Let's see if we get any. And it's totally fine if you don't have any questions now, because I didn't go into the technical description of the solution, but I might guess that some of you represent the IT functions, so you would be more interested probably in having the session with our solution architect. Or in case if you would like to have a chat with our sales and to understand better our business model and how we support customers, then I think we can organize it. Yes, for now, I don't see any question. I don't know whether it's a good sign or not. We will see a little bit later. But yes, I think we still have 6 minutes, but I am pretty much sure that we covered it all for today's session. As I mentioned, it was quite high level. So in case you want to dive deeper into any of the slides we covered today, please feel free to contact us. We will distribute this presentation and the webinar recording a little bit later, so you can also forward it to your colleagues who might be interested. And always feel free to send a direct message to me via LinkedIn, and remember to follow EuroDI. We try to provide with also market-related information via our blog posts and different videos. So for now, I think I'm gonna thank you and wish you all a nice rest of the week. Let's keep in touch. Thank you.